If your TV sounds funny in the evening, you're watching live from Studio 6B on Real America's Voice.
All right, live from Studio 6B on a Thursday. Man, week is flying by. June 19th. Real America's Voice and across the airways of 103.9 LI News Radio. Glad you're in, everybody. Rick Delgado sitting right there to my right. He's going to do the news. Vinnie Mac right there to my left. He's going to do some news as well. Aaron and Fran holding it down. Slick will be here, I hear, to do sports. I was not here last night, but I do believe Slickster will be here tonight. Right, Mr. Delgado, how are you?
I am good. I'm celebrating my Juneteenth, Damon. Thank you very much.
Yep, happy Juneteenth.
Yes.
Yeah. What a day.
What a day. What a celebration.
Yes.
I didn't go to work.
Yep.
It was wonderful.
Yep.
I guess
Trump
that's
says
how
we
it's
have too
done.
many of these holidays when
Yes.
people are not working.
Well, I didn't go to work because I had a doctor's appointment. That's as close as I could get to my Juneteenth being off. So I just took the day
Can't
off.
Trump, by executive order, get rid of Juneteenth or something? I don't know.
I don't even know what
I
it
don't know.
is.
Joe
Like,
Biden
did
created
you
it.
march?
Well, it's the Democrats thanking the Republicans for getting rid of their tyranny back in the day. Probably is what it should be.
There we go.
But
Yeah, no idea.
I don't know. Do you know what this is about, Delgado?
Juneteenth?
Yeah.
I thought it had to do with some type of. I thought, and maybe I'm wrong about the Black Wall Street. Was that Juneteenth or the premise behind Juneteenth?
Black
That's what
Wall
I
Street?
thought it was. Black Wall Street down in I believe it was Oklahoma. I believe was the story.
Oh.
I don't remember, but I did get a little education on Juneteenth today from a black man.
I'll tell you what
a matter of
Grok. Let me tell you what Grok says before you get to that.
Yes.
Grok says Juneteenth, celebrated on June 19th, marks the day in 1865 when enslaved African Americans in Galveston, Texas, were informed of their freedom.
That's what I was.
Over 2 years after the Emancipation Proclamation. It symbolizes the end of slavery in the U.S. and is a day of reflection, education, and celebration of African American culture and resilience. As I said more simply, a day that the Democrats should thank the Republicans for ending their tyranny. Thank you.
I can get behind this.
Yeah.
I mean, I can get behind this. Sounds like
was,
a worthwhile day.
Part of it was the celebration should be for Major General Gordon Granger. He was the one who led the contingent of some 2,000 Union soldiers that entered Galveston, Texas to deliver General Order Number 3, the proclamation, which you just mentioned, that ordered all enslaved black residents of the state that they were free. The thinking behind it was, it wasn't so much the thinking, it was what was going on. The slave owners, the Democrats down in Texas, didn't tell the slaves that they were free and weren't about to offer up that information anytime soon.
Can you believe that?
So since they didn't have the internet,
Yeah.
and they didn't have TV and all the good stuff that we enjoy today, so you can't get lied to, you could figure it out. They had to send people down after they found out. You know what? We still have a bunch of slaves down in Texas that aren't being freed. Why is this? Oh, the Democrats won't let them go. We got to
my
let them
goodness.
know. So there you have it.
Wow.
That is hat tip to Major General Gordon Granger.
Seems like people agree with my more succinct description of this, which I think is accurate.
I thought yours
so
was
am I.
very good.
Mine is basically.
Yours is fine too, Delgado.
It's
yes.
1865, June 19th. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was the man responsible for delivering the order. That's all I'm saying. I'm co-signing what you said, Damon,
Thank
as
you.
they say in the street.
Thank you very much for your attention to this matter.
Yes.
And you say it very well. Okay, so Slick will be here to do sports on
Yes.
Juneteenth. Delgado's going to do the news on Juneteenth. Vinnie Mac's going to also do the news here on Juneteenth. How was your day?
I didn't celebrate Juneteenth, that I could tell you, although now I have a little higher level of appreciation for the day.
Okay.
So I did not know what it was about, so a little ignorant there. My day was pretty good. I was just talking to you off the air about this. I had gotten my cholesterol checked and did all those tests, where they check your arteries and everything, just precautionary, nothing wrong. And so they gave me Lipitor, a little low dose of Lipitor to use. And I have to tell you, I have been out of sorts all day. Mm-hmm. I actually started cooking. I can't believe I did that. I did all things I never do. I did the laundry. I've been totally out of sorts. But I feel like I'm having side effects.
You sit down when you pee, too?
You said you have no side effects.
No, I don't take Lipitor. That's why I don't have any side effects.
Okay, there you go. Well, happy Juneteenth to you as well.
Well, what other side effects are you having?
They're mostly just like being very fatigued and can't sleep and things like that.
It sounds like you're old, actually.
Yeah.
Sounds like
Why are you attributing this to the Lipitor and not that you're just a moron?
I'm wound like a top all day. Like this is not normal. As a matter of fact, I went boxing today just to say, like, I'm going to do that, even though I'm not feeling up to doing it, and I did. But I just felt, tired through the whole thing. So I am no longer taking it. I am going to take some supplements and see how that.
No, Vince.
I'm not. I'm telling you, I'm
can't
done.
just not take it. If you're, what is your cholesterol, by the way?
It's high, whatever it is.
Obviously, you're on
It's high. It's high. Thank you. Well, what's the number?
You think it's the 15 pieces of bacon I have when I have my breakfast with the 2 eggs over easy, or the stick of butter I might throw on a couple of pieces of toast?
Oh.
It could be. It's high, but I checked out. Like, I did the test with the artery thing and all that, and they were like, yeah, looking good. I'm like, okay, but you should be on Lipitor. It's a little high.
You're looking good, so here's some medication.
You're looking good, so here's some Lipitor.
And here's some nitroglycerin and whatever else. No, none of that stuff. So the day was like I was in a fog all day. So I'm feeling a little better today. I inhaled a large Dunkin' Donuts coffee, and I feel like that might help me out. I'm looking for the urinal in about 5 minutes if I could.
Well, I think, Vin, that you should probably not take yourself off of it without talking to your doctor. Maybe move to Crestor.
Well, now that you have educated me on both Juneteenth and Crestor, I am going to investigate Crestor, because if you have no side effects and you have just high cholesterol, is it sort of genetic, or is it from your diet?
Yes.
Genetic, okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to investigate Crestor, see what their side effects are, and maybe I'll switch.
I don't want to make this a doctor's show, but do you want to know what my with my last blood lipid panel came back as?
Yeah, what is that?
My cholesterol total is 98.
Oh, I'm higher than that.
Vin's winning this game.
Yeah, I'm winning. I think I'm like 140.
Oh, you're killing it.
Something like that.
Nice.
I'm the bad cholesterol.
Good job.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
That black and white milkshake didn't help either that I had. I have the worst diet when it comes to cholesterol, so I know I got to change my diet.
So you want some of these beaver nuts?
No, keep those away from me too. Well, anyhow, I appreciate you asking. Oh, thank you very much.
About what?
I don't know. Whatever.
Okay. Let's put Lipitor on the Yucca app, someone said. Sherry Merrill on Facebook. That's a good idea. We Yucca'd these beaver nuts. They came up with a nice fat 0.
Oh, they're good.
So thank you to Rory Corbel, who sent all this stuff. It's so nice of you to send it, but you're trying to kill us, obviously, here. So
I don't think he likes us very much.
Yeah, I don't know. So. Well, people now saying that Big Pharma's trying to turn you into a drug addict. So, I don't know.
No, I am anti-drug, so I don't take drugs. I never take them, even if I had pain. Huh?
You're taking Lipitor.
Well, because I felt like, it was this kind of like, life or death kind of thing, but I don't feel like it's not that. I don't know.
What do you mean you felt like? The doctor recommended it.
The doctor did.
For your cholesterol.
Vin's probably got the number wrong. His cholesterol is probably more like 300.
No, definitely not. The bad cholesterol is like 140 something, and the other stuff's like 210 the total. And my cardiologist,
and then you add them up,
something like that. But my cardiologist is really cute, so I kind of went along with anything she said. I told her I was having side effects. We'll see what they say, but I could see from the Facebook crowd alone, they're recommending all sorts of alternatives, and I'm going to look at those.
I see some other things on Facebook too. People have very high cholesterol as well. So
yeah, okay.
Real right. Prince doll. Yeah. Asks, have you tried crystal meth?
Hold the bacon.
Tracy says high cholesterol is a lie. Okay,
I have heard that, by
all
the
kinds
way.
of stuff flying in here in the chat. We got a lot of doctors out there. I like this.
High cholesterol 10 years ago was 300 and above, sometimes even 400, which is like 20 years ago. So
Connie Brister says, come on, Damon, the doctors are in on the pharmaceutical companies.
Yep, there you go, Damon.
Okay, very good.
Damon, not paying attention to this stuff, are you?
No, I'm paying attention. I'm paying attention, so.
Well, you know what? It is kind of true. I mean, they're not going to suggest, okay, here's what we can do to lower your, what is it? What do you suffer from?
High cholesterol.
High cholesterol. I don't know, because I don't have high cholesterol
what do you
problems.
Suffer from is the real question.
Paying attention. Anyhow.
Yes.
So they're not going to say, you know what, you should. Did they say anything about changing your diet?
Jeff, they said, I exercise a lot. My diet's not the best, so I am going to fix that. But my question to the doctor was, and I would ask this for Dr. Drew, by the way, if we ever get him back on, isn't there a natural supplement or something that I can take, or a particular food that can help this? Do I have to take a drug?
No, you have to stop eating the crappy food that's giving you high cholesterol.
Yeah, well, thank you.
Well,
I'm going to do that.
There you go. Thank you, Dr. Arias Delgado.
Yes.
You're welcome.
Yes.
Perfect.
I'll send you my bill.
Well,
what else is going on?
in other news, this hour of the Doctor Show brought to you by...
Sorry about that. You asked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're going to negotiate for 2 weeks. And my question upon hearing this today is, with who? I thought they're all dead.
Well, the leader isn't dead. The head
There's some
muckety-muck guy.
speculation tonight, but we're not negotiating with him anyways. He told us to pound sand. He stated he has no interest in giving anything up or doing any of this, didn't he? I'm pretty sure he did.
I have no idea.
That's
that
what
was
he's
my
saying.
first question. Who are we negotiating with for 2 weeks? Not to be cynical, but what do you think the 2 weeks? What's magical about the 2 weeks? What about the last 3 months? Or what's the next 2 weeks? What did you think when you heard this?
What did I think about the 2 weeks? I didn't really think too much about it because it sounds to me like he's giving them an opportunity to save their ass. Just basically, here's your shot. Here's an off-ramp for you. You can take it if you want, or you might be turned to dust. It's one of those two. That's what I get from the 2 weeks, because I don't see them, or at least the leaders, saying, out loud and in public, 2 weeks pound sand. The guys who are probably really in charge behind the scenes that are, talking, they're probably the ones that are doing the negotiating. And they'll bring that deal and say, look, this is you'll get to stay alive for a little bit longer, or they're going to annihilate the rest of us. Because everybody we keep putting up into these new jobs, they keep getting blown up.
I have a little different, similar perspective and a little different thought, too, on all of this. So, number one, behind the scenes, they want to make a deal. There's no question that they want to make a deal. I don't think Trump would extend anything if he didn't think maybe there's a shot, but I don't think he believes there's a shot. But what I think's really going on is they might suspect, meaning us, might suspect there could be a dirty bomb, there could be a something that might be out there that maybe these lunatics floated out and said, hey, we're going to, activate these people, and we have stuff out there that you don't even know about. Something like that, where Trump wants to be sure as much as he could as to what is really happening. And I think this is typical Trump. He has now pushed them to the negotiating brink. Now, and he's in a great position because there was, they weren't negotiating. They were lying to us since 1979. Now he's pushed them to the negotiating brink. And now he's in a position with a 2-week window to actually maybe a 1% chance there's a deal. I don't think there is. I think this is him investigating something they might have heard that could be quite dangerous, frankly.
All right, 13 past the hour. More on this when we get back live from Studio 6B. Glad you're in on a Thursday night right after this. We're back.
I love it. I'm looking at all the comments that oatmeal. I love oatmeal, by the way. I have oatmeal all the time.
It's terrible for you.
Oatmeal?
Kicking snow on
What?
Rumble.
Oatmeal's terrible.
Since
Is
when?
it? When?
Yeah, that's what I hear.
I
hear
didn't get that
oatmeal.
memo.
I hear
From
oatmeal.
who?
Am I right? Chat. Please tell me.
I'll take it. I love oatmeal, but I was told oatmeal is good for cholesterol.
No, but the oatmeal itself, I think, is terrible for you.
Wow.
I think that's
blown
a
away
whole
by
big
that.
No, I don't think so. I think oatmeal is terrible for you.
Wow.
Right?
I like that. I like to do my little protein shakes. Yeah.
Everything is terrible for you at some point. Just enjoy what you like and die happy.
Thank you.
There you go.
Eat in moderation. I think that's the key. And I don't know.
Kicking snow
Michael
on the
says
Rumble
oatmeal's
chat.
horrible for you.
Kicking snow on the Rumble chat says, no way Damon is under 100.
I mean,
They're talking about your numbers.
Studies show 80% of people on statins get dementia because it stops your liver from producing fats. Oh my God. Well, that's one reason just for me to get off it immediately. I've only been on it for like 8 days too.
Yeah,
DMAC1 on Rumble says statins are bad. They keep lowering the numbers.
Wow. 98. I'm impressed.
Thank you. Who said that?
I'm very impressed with that. That's outstanding.
Damon is correct. Oatmeal's terrible.
Wow.
Why?
I think we caught a zebra.
Do you make homemade oatmeal? So where do you get them from?
Yeah.
Where do you get them from? That's where the terrible oatmeal comes from, the stores.
I like that Irish steel cut oatmeal. I don't know if that's any different, if it's steel cut or not. Who the hell knows?
I can't eat.
You know what? I'm very, 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 disgruntled with all this food stuff. All the stuff that RFK Jr. is pointing out that I've been eating for just decades. Doritos and everything else with coloring in it. Little ice pops. I'm very disgruntled with all this because they were feeding us crap. Now I feel like I'm paying the price for it.
Everybody's talking about health.
I'm happy. I'm happy to do a special episode on my cholesterol next week. Okay.
Danielle Gilbert on the Twix chat says, change your diet, Vin, and be consistent.
Yeah, I think that's good advice.
I think so too.
That ultimately, that's the best advice.
Just
Ba-ba-da-da. 17 past the hour, live from Studio 6B.
Yeah. Hey, have I mentioned
We
my
got the
cholesterol
NBA
time?
Finals on for Slick and yelling at me. They got to get him on.
Yeah.
Nobody cares about them.
Well, I care about him. That's all that
No, I
matters.
know, and that's all that matters
That's
to me.
right.
is
To
that
me,
you're
it
happy,
does.
Slick.
I know.
There you go.
I
My
know.
cholesterol's higher
Well,
than
the
their
Knicks
ratings.
couldn't do it, so what can I tell you? That's their
Well, I
problem.
don't care about that.
Yeah, you do.
No, I don't.
Oh, come on, stop. You're a New York guy.
Pacers,
you know what? The Sixers did even less.
That's all right. At least we won a championship 10 years more current than you did.
Slick,
so
you look
easy.
good.
Thank
Why
you.
are you coming in firing tonight? Why are you all fired up?
Well,
hell's
I was
going
at a
on?
big networking event in my local community. We had a big event at a local pub and had a couple of Chardonnays. But I'm ready to do the show. Big D. Come on now.
Okay, I
let's
was
go.
thinking maybe you got in trouble or they fired you.
No,
no.
Big D. You think I get in trouble? Not in this day.
David, you should have seen him last night.
What?
He was
talking
complaining
about?
last night that he hasn't had a drink all week.
Right, that's true.
He was a little ornery last night. Now
Well,
he's
it
spicy.
seems ornery tonight, too.
No,
What's
he's
that word?
cranky.
No, I'm good.
Ornery?
Ornery.
I didn't do that. Big D, nice to see you.
You're looking good, Slick.
Thank you.
Is that jacket a new one?
No, I've had this suit for a while. This is not a jacket. This is a full suit. I go the whole run, man. I don't wear jackets. I wear the whole 9 yards, man.
No, what the hell, Big D? You don't
Come on,
wear
Big D.
jackets around
We
here.
missed you last night, Big D.
Oh, man. What
We
a day
missed
I
you
had.
last night on the show.
How was school?
Yeah,
How did you
I
do?
was at Sacred Heart University all day.
Oh,
Did
what
you
was that
pass?
like? Please.
He
give us a
attended
full
class.
Blow by blow.
Well, we had orientation. They do it early.
Really? What, 3
Like
o'clock?
really early.
Well, I was walking out on Tuesday night with Vin to the parking lot. He's like, "You're going up to Sacred Heart." He goes, "Well, wait till you have to go there for the orientation thing." And I said,
Yeah.
"No, that's what I'm going for, Vin. It's
In
orientation."
June. I'm like, what?
Yeah, they do it. They do it early.
Don't they do it like a week before or 2 weeks
yeah,
before you
usually
start?
in August.
No, 6 days they do. They did Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
This is for the parents, though.
Yeah.
It's for parents and kids.
to make
What,
sure
what are they
the,
orienting
bring-
the parents for? We
So
just
you
want
bring
to
your kid up,
to make sure the check clears.
and the kid goes with the kids, and they do their day, and with the parents stay together, and they do their day.
Yeah.
And so we had like seminars. Like we went into the theater, and you had to sit down, and there was big screens and presentations, and they take you through everything.
Wow.
And you and your wife are educators, so I love to hear your feedback on this because you're obviously a little
Yeah.
different level than the
Well,
average
no, it was,
attendee.
I mean, it's just not something, whatever. It was
No?
He took a nap.
the business school that he's going into. The business school presentation
Like he does on the show.
was very impressive.
Yeah.
The business guy I liked a lot. The business presentation I liked a lot. Everything else just sucked.
Did you get a 2-week timeshare?
Everything sucked, really?
That was just
good.
boring. just terrible, like corny presentations and just videos.
Now, what is your son looking to major in? Or he's not
Marketing.
decided? Oh, well then, business guy was very big. It was
Super
big.
marketing.
Marketing, really.
He's majoring in marketing?
No.
Oh. Jeez.
No, business. I don't know. But, you don't decide until like your third year.
That's
Everybody
true.
takes all the freshmen, sophomores basically. You have your set thing of classes that you have to take. Most of them don't have anything to do with business in the first year.
No,
maybe
that's
one or two.
Very true.
And then you get in, but it's the Jack Welch School of Business there. Old former CEO of GE.
Jack Welch is legend. His book is amazing. The guy had it. He
And
had
the
it right.
School of Business is the old GE building.
Really?
Yes.
Wonderful. Well, I'm excited for you and your son.
It's a beautiful campus.
Great experience.
It's a beautiful school. It's everything. If you're me and you're looking at around New York and you're walking on campus and the first person that comes up to you says, "Hello, my pronouns are," and you're going,
Yeah.
"Okay,
My
out of here."
My hair color's pink.
Right.
Yeah.
Sacred Heart checks all the boxes.
Yeah, it's a good
Yeah.
school.
Other than what they want for tuition, which is insanity. But we've been able to
That empties your deposit box.
negotiate it to a reasonable number.
Oh, negotiation, huh?
Yeah. And he's telling his son to take
You
one
can
credit.
Yeah, you can
negotiate.
negotiate.
Well, everything is negotiable in life.
Yeah.
They say.
Wow. I didn't negotiate. I should have negotiated. I
Yeah.
didn't think it was negotiable.
About my contract.
Tuition?
Yeah. Everything's
I don't have a
negotiable.
contract.
Well, I'd give him 2 weeks, Jamin. Then
But
pay
it was
him.
good.
Oh,
it was
good.
good. He loved it. He's excited. It's a great campus.
Basketball?
They have a beautiful chapel right there, which is like the heart and focus of the school, right on the grounds.
How's the basketball team? He's going to get to play
Well, it's a
with the-
D1 school, so he's not
Okay.
going to play D1 basketball, but he's going to play club basketball, hopefully.
Even
He makes
better
the team.
in some ways.
Yeah, which they still get uniforms. They still travel. They still play games. They go to other colleges.
Yeah, I remember those
But
days.
you just don't have the commitment to being up every day at 4 a.m. And, it's just the D1 commitment is just very tough. So,
Yeah, it was like that for the bocce team. I remember.
Yeah, I'm
the
sure it
commitment
was.
was insane.
So it was good. Good day, good night. It was a full 12-hour day. I mean, we were there. We were there from 6. We on a 6 a.m. ferry.
Wow.
We got there at 8, and we got done at 8.
It's changed, man. In my day, they best push the door open. Okay, call us every couple of weeks. It was it. My parents had no orientation.
No, that was not
They didn't come. My father was Sal Buda. My father coming in, they'd be like, "What? What the hell are you talking about?"
Dave Syverson
come
says,
on.
"Damon, did you negotiate some Sacred Heart reads or sponsorships?"
By the way,
I
this
did.
next segment.
I have 40 million reads to do between now and 2029. It starts tonight.
That's a great comment.
22 past the hour. Let's do. You ready to do sports, Slick?
No,
or no?
I gotta
Of course.
get rocked
No,
up.
there we
Well,
go. Yeah,
I gotta get the NBA
That's
game on
fine.
8:30.
I think there's a
baby.
basketball game going.
All right. So we were talking about Trump's 2 weeks
Yeah.
deal.
Yes.
And his exact statement was regarding the situation in Iran. Was Carolyn Levitt said. I know there's been a lot of speculation, so I have directly from the president. Based on the fact that there is a substantial chance of negotiations that may or may not take place with Iran in the near future, I will make my decision whether or not to go within the next 2 weeks. So my first honest reaction was, who are we negotiating with? Because I thought they were all dead. Honestly, that was my first. Who are we? Who are we negotiating with? We know the supreme leader is not negotiating because he's still chanting "Death to America," as far as I understand.
He is.
And I believe there's some reports tonight. I don't know if he's been taken out or not, but there certainly is speculation out there on social media tonight about whether he's gone on to the next life. But I don't know. So yeah, I don't know. So Vin, your take is a little different than what I've heard. You think the U.S. is buying itself some time to look into something else that they may think is going on? Is that what you said?
Yeah, I think I do. I think that they might have suspicions that there might be something else out there. Think about it this way. The Iranians have been trying to build a nuclear bomb. And they've been, doing their whole thing with uranium and all that kind of stuff. There could be a dirty bomb. There could be all sorts of other things that perhaps wouldn't take as long than creating a nuclear bomb. And secondly, we need a little time to get all of our stuff in order because there might be some counter attacks to our guys. So I think Trump's, doing the right thing here. And I think we talked about this last time I was on the show, I trust Trump in this. I really do. I don't think he's the kind of guy that's going to make a rash decision. I don't think he's going to go start bombing people without a reason. And I also know one thing that's very clear about him, and he's been talking for the last 20 years about this. He's not pro-war. He doesn't want to have a war. So all of those things putting together, there's a reason why he's taken a little time here, being a little deliberate, making sure every I is dotted, every T is crossed. And if there's any risk, and I think, that might be a piece of it, then he's being a little cautious here, which I don't blame him. The negotiation thing, I think, is just baloney. They're going to take this guy out. The exiled prince is already talking about the military contacting him and others. There's moves being made, so hopefully some of that happens. But I think Trump's just being very deliberate. He's doing what we would hope a president would do. I want to make the decision. I want it to be the right decision. I want it to be perfect. I want the timing to be great. I want everybody to be safe. End of story. So that's where I'm coming from.
Now, one of the other stories that was swirling around today, around social media, and I know in D.C., was this article in The Guardian. I don't know if either of you saw this. Headline, Trump caution on Iran strike linked to doubts over bunker buster bomb, officials say. The likelihood of a successful U.S. strike on the Iranian nuclear facility buried deep underground at Fordow is the topic of deep contention, defense officials say. So let's discuss this when we get back. Because there's two parts of this, the story and then the constant leaking that is going on with these things. Live from Studio 6B. We'll talk about it when we get back.
Oversight. Oh, my God. Pacers hoping to clinch Game 6 tonight. You just showed me an headline.
Yeah,
nobody's watching.
From
Halliburton's
ABC News.
Watch
what was it?
ABC News with the headline, NBA Finals, Pacers hoping to clinch championship in Game 6, even though they're down 3-2 in Game 6. So they're going to win two games tonight by winning one.
They called Harry Oates to get their clip.
I'm going to call Harry Oates is in the control room. Right? They could have called him. I think Tyrese Halliburton comes out and has about 35 tonight.
Harry said, I can't answer that. I'm watching the Masters right now.
Pacers are going to win. They're going to force a Game 7. I think it's going to be a Game 7. Indiana wins tonight.
I just don't care. I was more interested in the WNBA.
This game's over. Oh, yeah.
I loved all that going on with the WNBA.
Oh,
and, they had a little altercation. And it's about time people stick up for this girl, Caitlin Clark.
I mean, Chrissy Everett's out there complaining. She's been a has-been for 40 years. And she's out there complaining. We love Chrissy, but, come on.
It's Caitlin Clark. It's like out of a movie where someone's just getting abused. And, it's what it looks like
the
to
burning
me.
bed.
She got poked in the eye.
Farrah Fawcett, remember that?
Ooh.
Really? I thought you were more of a Jacqueline Smith guy. You look like more of a Jacqueline Smith guy.
I was, but she didn't do big movies.
I was right. I love Jacqueline Smith was really
She's
a beauty.
way hotter.
Yeah, Farrah Fawcett was pretty too, though.
Everybody was into Farrah.
Yeah, I know.
Farrah was amazing.
I knew I didn't have a chance, but Jacqueline Smith,
Jacqueline Smith
was
a real beauty.
Well, we were seeing other people, so we couldn't do anything. Tried, but couldn't do anything.
Vin was in college at the time.
Vin's more of a Bosley kind of guy.
I know a guy that went out with her. One of the guys at Pepperdine on the tennis team. Legendary guy, John Van Nostrand.
Oh, he was a California guy.
Great-looking guy.
So he knows.
Stud beyond studs. And I heard a little rumor there.
Well, then us.
Is it true that China landed a couple of cargo planes in Tehran? I would say no.
I did hear that.
China could give a flying hoot about Iran right now, as could Russia or anyone else. There's no. They've all abandoned them, from what I can tell, unless this is something new.
That's a story that's been hot and heavy the last few hours.
That's a story that's been hot and heavy the last 2 hours?
Yeah. The White House is concerned. What's going on with these China flights to Iran?
Yeah, well, they've sent stuff. They've done something. It's not just weird. It's inappropriate for that to happen. You have to be suspicious.
If it's happened.
If it's happened, yeah. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of rumor and speculation.
Now, the White House has pushed back on this.
On which one?
Force has too. All right, 30 minutes past the hour, live from Studio 6B, Real America's Voice, all across the country on your TVs, 1039 LI News Radio, on your radio, Suffolk County, New York. Glad you're all in, whether you're watching or listening. So, before we get to sports, this story in The Guardian today about bunker buster bombs, Trump caution on Iran linked to this idea. And the White House has pushed back on this, saying that none of this is true. Donald Trump has suggested to defense officials it would make sense for the U.S. to launch strikes against Iran only if the so-called bunker buster bomb was guaranteed to destroy the critical uranium enrichment facilities at Fordo, according to people familiar with the deliberations. And again, the leaking that has gone on in the last couple weeks seems extreme from this administration.
Well, it just seems what we saw. Anytime there's something that could be a positive, they have to get a bad narrative out there, right? Somebody has to come out. Somebody has to say this, that, or the other thing. Is there a name attached to this leak there, Damon?
Of course not.
Of course not. So that's probably because it's probably all what they call horse nanny.
Trump was told that dropping the GBU-57s, a 13.6-ton, 30,000-pound bomb, would effectively eliminate Fordo, but he does not appear to be fully convinced, people said, and has held off authorizing strikes as he also awaits the possibility of the threat of U.S. involvement would lead Iran to talks. The effectiveness of the GBU-57s has been a topic of deep contention at the Pentagon since the start of Trump's term, according to two defense officials who were briefed that perhaps only a tactical nuclear weapon could be capable of destroying Fordo, because of how deeply it is located. Trump is not considering using a tactical nuclear weapon on Fordo, and the possibility was not even presented by Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth and the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, General Raising Kane, in meetings at the White House Situation Room. Again, two people familiar with the matter said, but the defense officials who received the briefing were told that using conventional bombs, even as part of a wider strike package of several GBU-57s, would not penetrate deep enough underground, and that it would only do enough damage to collapse tunnels and bury it under rubble. The defense officials were also told to completely destroy Fordo, which Israeli intelligence estimates to go down as far as 300 feet. It would likely require the U.S. to first soften the ground with conventional bombs and then ultimately drop a tactical nuclear weapon from a B-2 bomber. The assessments were made by the Defense Threat Reduction Agency, a component of the Defense Department that tested the GBU-57 as it reviewed the limitations of U.S. military ordnance against a number of underground facilities. Obviously, all of this underscoring the complex nature of such a strike. Now, as I said, Jackie Heinrich over at Fox says tonight, a White House official tells me the contents of this report are false, that the U.S. military has no doubt and the U.S. Air Force has no doubt, I saw that as well, the efficacy of bunker busters in eliminating the site at Fordo, also denying that any options, including tactical nukes, has been taken off the table. Now, Hugo Lowell, who was on with Steve Bannon, I believe, this afternoon, says, I'm trying to refute our report. In trying to refute our reporting that Trump isn't considering using nukes on Fordo, the White House is now saying that nukes are a possibility. And, I mean, I guess, when they say that even those haven't been taken off the table, I guess essentially they're saying, well, then there's still a possibility. So, I
don't buy any of this. I mean, frankly,
Yeah.
we used the bunker busters in Afghanistan, in those mountains.
Right.
They were quite effective.
Mm-hmm.
Every general I've seen, I've heard speak, says these things will absolutely take care of this. I think this is more nonsense. I think Delgado's got it pretty much nailed. What does concern me, why I even made that comment, Damon, about the possible dirty bomb or any of that, is the Doomsday plane showed up in Washington, and that did caused me some concern that maybe something else is causing him to be sure of a process. I don't think it's about the bomb or the bombing. I think it's just about other things lining up. Did you hear that report of the Doomsday plane?
I heard that they picked up some frequency that they thought the Doomsday plane, and then I saw somebody said they could be doing training exercises. Who knows?
Yeah.
I didn't hear anything concrete. Did you?
Yeah. Other than that it's in D.C.
Yeah.
And it's not usually in D.C.
I think the overall thing, though, here is what's, and this is what interests me.
It is in D.C.?
Who? Oh, Harry on the highway is all of a sudden now talking.
Oh,
in all of our
Harry.
ears out of nowhere.
God.
Harry's
Doesn't
here.
even say he's here. He just starts talking.
Hey,
Where's
Harry.
the couch?
The thing about it is what you said before, Vin, when it all comes down to it, it's either you trust Trump or you don't. And what amazes me as I watch social media and this fraction of people who are just anti-anything, and what amazes me is when it comes to other political stuff, wonky policy stuff on whether it's big beautiful bill, if you endorsements, all this other stuff that Trump does. If you question any of it, everybody says to you, "How dare you question any of this? This is the guy. We trust him. What are you talking about? Leave him alone. He knows what he's doing." And when it comes to this, which is his absolute strength, his backbone, his instincts, his decision making, all the same people are like, "Oh, I don't know, this guy's lost us. We can't trust him anymore. We can't." I mean, it just makes no sense,
it's
right?
Nonsense.
It's a little crazy. Again, I go back to who is actually, you notice there are no names attached. They don't want to attach their names, probably because it's all garbage. It would also be prudent to find out exactly who started this report, because you know how it works with the wrap-up smear. You have to put it somewhere in the media, and then the others pick up on it, and then it goes, "Oh my goodness, everybody's talking about it." Meanwhile, it really started with some report with these two unnamed sources that nobody can verify. So you really have to step back and be like, okay, whatever. I'm sure maybe some people are thinking maybe it doesn't work. Maybe it doesn't. Who knows? But from what the experts have said and why they developed it and why they've tested it and why they've used it, it seems to work every time they try to use it.
All this to me is nonsense. I think you said it well in the very beginning. This is more about creating division within MAGA. That's what this is really all about. I think there's so many factions out there who don't want MAGA to succeed, and MAGA meaning Donald Trump, and then the rest of us who support and follow him. They will just put anything out that changes the narrative or makes us question. Like the whole thing about all the MAGA people getting mad because we might go to war in a prolonged war. Right. I just don't believe any of that nonsense, because common sense tells you there's no ground game here. There's none of this stuff. It's destroy the nuke things, drop a couple of big bombs, and the Israelis take care of it, and that's the end of it. There's no real story there.
Right.
I mean, it's obvious. To me, this is all about. It's one of the
not
stories.
obvious to a lot of people, and a lot of people that are on this network, it's not obvious to.
I think a lot of people are being influenced by some of the chatter that's set out to divide us, frankly, and divide us in a way that we don't have control over, what Trump's doing, or we believe he might be doing something different. This is all deliberate stuff to divide us. I'm convinced of it. And I know I've seen stories where the Chinese and the Russians and even the Iranians, they are pushing all sorts of propaganda out on social media to divide MAGA. They all lose with Trump succeeding. The Dems lose, Russia loses, China loses, Iran, of course, loses. They all lose. Why won't they do that? They will, absolutely. And it affects people. You see some of this divisive nonsense. Some people buy into it, some others don't. But trust your president. We have trusted this guy for how long? He has done the right thing every step of the way. He's been through hell. Trust this guy. He's smart. He knows what he's doing, and he's not going to screw us.
Yeah, and another thing to be wary of is, and on the lookout for, is how they try and scare you, right? How they kind of, let's put the fear of God in everybody, because that sells papers as well. Let's use the word tactical nuke. Ooh, once they put that in there, then everybody runs with that. And of course, the president's going to say, nothing is off the table, because that's part of the negotiation and the leverage that you have when you're trying to do something, is you don't take things off the table that could actually work. You want them, because you got to use them to kind of beat somebody over the head sometimes. Be like, kind of give them a reminder. It's like, look, I can do this to you. Will I do it? You don't know. And by the time you figure it out, you'll be looking down from 30,000 feet.
And he's a master negotiator.
That's my point on his instincts, right? That's his absolute strength. If you point to one thing in strength, it's his absolute instincts. And when it comes to some of that stuff, policy stuff, when you get into there's so much stuff that you can rightly criticize. But why would we lose people when it comes to something like this with Trump? I mean, this is his wheelhouse.
I totally agree.
Totally.
And we're not losing them. This is deliberate attempts to divide. It's just as simple as that.
And a lot of it comes from people that aren't fans of Trump, but they still have an R next to their name. Beware of those people as well, because we've seen that from them as well.
Yeah.
Oh, of course I support the president. And what happened January 6th? January 6th, a bunch of them, even one on Long Island, signed up to impeach him.
Yep.
So you know what?
Oh, yeah,
you got to keep your eye on
That's true.
You have people who voted for Trump who are now saying, "Oh man, I regret the vote, and I'm calling for his impeachment."
Ridiculous.
And I'm thinking, what?
I just don't don't believe any of that. I'm sure people are saying that.
Yeah.
But
I should have voted for Kamala, huh?
yeah,
Okay. Sure. Thank you.
Yes.
Come on.
I get you.
Yes. Yeah. That would.
You know what this all reminds me of, though? Because they mentioned the tactical nuke. It's meant to scare you. The first thing I thought of was Sum of All Fears, right?
Yep.
Where they're going to try and detonate something on U.S. soil and try and drag us into a war. Maybe that's the idea. If we can get Trump to do something and drag the United States into a war, it screws them up completely.
Also, every president before Trump and other than Trump has given us reason not to trust them. Everyone. Maybe the exception of Ronald Reagan. Every president, Republican, Democrat, have given us reason not to trust them. But the one guy who hasn't ever is Donald Trump.
Yep.
We've had just look at the body of work. And if you catch any of these clips from like when he's on Oprah or any of these old shows, this is the same story. And he's done nothing ever to contradict what he wants and thinks we should be doing. And I think, as Damon said, there might be some policy things you might get a little ticked off at. Yeah, this maybe we need to reduce the debt a little more and do these things. Yeah, we need to do that. That's policy stuff. That's debatable stuff. We discuss that. But you can't not trust this guy. I have to say, he's one of the most trustworthy presidents I think we've ever had.
Yep. With Reagan included.
Reagan included. I love Ronald Reagan. You know that.
I love him, too.
I love him. He was, to me, an inspiration for all of us. And we were younger then. You know, we were 18 years old, I think, or so, right?
We're kids, Vinny.
Yeah.
Right.
So I only loop him in there because I'm just trying to make a point that just about every president has shown to be untrustworthy, except for Reagan.
And Reagan and President Trump.
Yeah,
I agree. 1,000%.
Kickings now on Rumble says LFS6B not listening to their audience, listening to Fox News instead. Could someone explain to me what that means?
We don't watch Fox News.
Not listening to their audience, listening to Fox News instead. What does that mean?
I don't understand that.
That's wow.
I have no idea. Maybe they can explain it.
Call Harry.
All right, live from Studio 6B.
Actually, that was Harry.
We're back.
That might have been Harry.
Right after this.
Yeah, Susan Lewis makes an interesting point. She says, but Reagan did not take action on Iran when he had the chance, and he should have back then. And you can make that argument. He should have, and so should have every president since then. But Iran didn't have a nuke. They were bad, and Reagan should have. So I'm not discounting that for sure. But they didn't have the ability to make a nuke like they seem to have now, or they seem to be really close. Like this game of chicken ends now. Reagan would be doing exactly what Trump would be doing right now, too. Yeah, no question.
Damon, you sound like a moron when you say that this is Trump's wheelhouse. Oh, okay. Well, you can disagree, but I put up his first term, what he did specifically against Iran, by the way, against whatever you want to tell me.
Yeah.
Foreign policy is not his wheelhouse. I didn't say foreign policy. I said his instincts. His instincts as a leader, his instincts as a business person, his instincts on doing the right thing, his instincts on knowing the difference between right and wrong. Right and wrong. What's the difference? What's the right thing to do in this situation?
And nonsense.
That's what I'm talking about.
Nonsense and non-nonsense. Even watching The Apprentice.
Border security is Trump's wheelhouse? Okay.
Well, the border's secure.
Yeah, he does a fine job at it. He does a fine job at it, yes.
He's probably never had to secure a border, but the border's secure, right?
Well, you know what? The foreign policy is actually pretty good. I mean, he's gotten NATO in line in terms of making sure that they're doing their part the way they should be. He's done a lot with, kind of pushing some of these. To your point,
who's done better?
Yeah.
I would challenge anybody to say, I don't know of a president that has. Maybe Reagan, but Reagan didn't even go this far.
Right.
I mean, like NATO and the stuff like he brought up. I mean, Trump's been sensational, but he's also been practical.
He took care of North Korea his first term. Right?
How he's handled this whole fraction of both sides on this to get us to even where we are now.
Yeah.
And obviously, the 2 weeks, he clearly doesn't want to I heard Israel today. I think I didn't hear the actual clip, but people say Netanyahu said, we don't need America to finish this off. We can do it.
Yeah.
You know what?
That might be part of it, too.
Maybe Trump's thinking, go ahead.
That might be part of it, too, though, where he's thinking, well, maybe let's see how much further they go, how much we really need to do. Bottom line is, he's trustworthy.
If they could have finished.
All right, 13 to the hour, live from Studio 6B. Let's do some sports. Sports is brought to you by Mike Lindell. LFSXB is the promo code to use if you shop at MyPillow. All the great stuff that they have for sale there. MyPillow.com, MyStore.com. It works at both. It'll give you great savings at checkout. They sponsor sports. Slickster, what's going on?
All right, Big D. Well, big Game 6 right now in Indiana, Gainbridge Fieldhouse in Indiana. The Pacers looking to keep the season going. OKC looking to close it out and win their first NBA title. Game 6 just underway. OKC jumped out to an early 8-2 lead, but Tyrese Halliburton is in the lineup for Indiana, their star player, so hopefully he'll have a good game. I'm rooting for Indiana to win this game tonight. I'd love to see a Game 7 Sunday night, 8 p.m., prime time. Come on, Rick. Wouldn't you love to catch that? So I'm looking forward to that. We'll see what happens. But I don't know, Big D. We'll keep it track. But 8-2, game just underway in Indiana. OKC out by 6 early in the game. But again, Indiana in a must-win situation, because if they don't win, then just like the Florida Panthers, the Oklahoma City Thunder will win their NBA championship, and there'll be 2 teams that'll be walking off with trophies this week alone. So great stuff. Some other scores going on right now. Major League Baseball, Pirates and Tigers tied at 4 down in Detroit, bottom of the 9th there. Good game. Phillies 2-1 over the Marlins, bottom 9, bottom 5. Mets and Braves in a good one in Atlanta tied at 1. Pitches still there. Orioles and Rays tied at 1 as well. Top 5. Well, the Reds got bombed today by Minnesota in Cincinnati, 12-5. The Angels right now trail. The Yankees actually just went ahead and they won that game 7-3. Oh, so Yankees back in their winning ways, Rick. Right, finally get a win.
6 in a row.
Jeez. Yankees, they did good in the Bronx tonight. Nationals 4-3 over the Rockies. That's a final in 11 innings. Also final Tigers over the Pirates 9-2. That was the first game of the doubleheader that's currently going on now. Cardinals 5-4 over the White Sox. Brewers edge the Cubs 8-7. Royals over the Rangers 4-1. Diamondbacks down the Blue Jays 9-5. Giants topple they topped the Guardians 2-1 there. And Cardinals in 10 over the White Sox 8-6 down in South Chicago there. Astros taking on the A's at 10:05 first pitch, and Padres, of course, out in L.A. for the final nightcap, as it often happens, 10-10 in Dodger Stadium there. So we'll get to a couple of quick stories, if I may. How about this one, Big D? Jerry story here. Cowboys to raise cheerleaders' salaries by 400%.
There we
for
go.
2025.
That's a tariff.
Jerry's getting himself giddy.
Jerry must be getting turned down at the strip club. He's looking to
don't know,
bring it
Big
closer
D.
to home.
Well,
Give him more money.
Dylan Gwynn of Breitbart here. A bit of breaking NFL news this week came not from ESPN reporter Adam Schefter, but from Netflix when Dallas Cowboys cheerleader Megan McElhaney revealed that the league's most famous cheerleading troupe will start receiving a lot more money in 2025. Now, when you hear about this, it's not really that impressive. On a recent episode of Netflix America's Sweethearts, Dallas Cowboys cheerleader McElhaney informed viewers that the Cowboys cheerleaders' pay will increase by 400% this year. Our efforts were heard, and they wanted to give us a raise, McElhaney said, and we ended up getting a 400% increase, which is life-changing. Happy isn't even the right word for it, former cheerleader Jada McClain said. I think I was just kind of felt like a relief, I'm quoting this, obviously, like everything had paid off, and it was, finally we were done fighting. Fellow cheerleader Armani Latimer added, we pushed and we got back good results. ABC News confirmed the news with the Cowboys, who said, we are pleased, as you'll see in the series, that Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders were happy with the outcome. According to the New York Times, hourly compensation for a Cowboys cheerleader in 2024. You guys ready for this one?
Here we go.
Yeah,
$15 an hour.
that's terrible.
I'm thinking of trying out.
And $500 for each appearance. However, with the pay increase, veteran cheerleaders would now be making more than $75 an hour, which I would say is a more reasonable wage for girls who only get about 16 games a year to play. Not even 16, because they only get 8 or 9 home games.
Yep.
So quite frankly, they're not getting a lot of pay. So, however, while the pay is definitely headed in the right direction for the cheerleaders, they still don't receive the health insurance access from the team because they are considered part-time employees. However, given that nearly all cheerleaders have other jobs away from football, most of them have health insurance provided by their other occupants. So thank you for clearing that, Breitbart. But Big D, the cheerleaders are going to get $500 an appearance now.
All right, very good.
Well, what are you talking about? It's my Cowboys.
Yeah, no.
The most famous mascot sideline act in sports history are the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders.
Yeah.
Bar none.
Iconic.
Absolutely.
I mean, I don't know about that.
And
What do you got to dispute that?
I'm sorry?
What do you got to dispute that? You heard me.
I'll take the check, please, and one more round for Slick, if we could.
I'm ready to roll, man.
Why?
Why are you refuting that? The Cowboys are
How dare
hands
you?
down, Big D. The cheerleaders are number one. Come on.
Oh, man.
Who's bigger than,
Wait,
than that?
number one.
well, what
do you
about the
mean?
Lakers?
As far as mascots.
Laker girls?
No,
Thank
no.
you.
Those Laker girls, come on, talk to Magic. He'll tell you the story on them. Truth of the matter is, you know damn well the Cowboys are number one.
Paula
man. Come
Abdul?
on.
Well, Abdul was
No.
I don't know that
Those
at all.
Cowboys, man, those girls,
Very
they've
famous. Very famous
ended
Lakers.
wars, that team.
Straight
man.
up,
They've gone to
baby, don't you tell
Vietnam
me
and
that-
whatnot.
Yeah.
Come on.
Nick
Paula
City
Abdul.
Dancers.
Maybe
Nick
with the
City
pay raise,
Dancers.
they'll be good enough for the Cowboys to start winning.
Well, that's another point, Fred.
Yeah, Nick City Dancers?
Yeah.
Exactly.
No, the Cowboys are iconic. They were the first group. All right. I think we got to go back to
Come on now.
bunker busting bombs here in a
Straight
minute.
face, didn't I?
Listen, Fred and Fran, we're out.
What?
Let's go. Cowboys cheerleaders number one. They're finally going to get paid $500. Even $500 a game is
I was
pathetic.
watching the
I mean,
episode
5
when they announced that. It was
With Jerry's kind of money. Come on.
I was surprised.
All right.
What?
I said I was watching the episode when they announced that they were getting paid more. I was surprised that they didn't get paid that much.
I couldn't believe how little they got paid.
I can't
Here's,
believe. I couldn't believe I was watching the
What
show.
kind of cholesterol medication is Slick on?
Anything else in sports? Or are you done? Are you done with sports?
That's a wrap in sports,
All right,
Big D.
sports is brought to you by Mike
10-7
Lindell.
OKC.
So here's a message I just got on Twitter.
Okay.
Not everyone's going to agree. That doesn't mean that people are trying to divide MAGA. Stop saying we should just trust Trump. No. He was wrong on the COVID jabs. He's a human. He's fallible. No one in government should ever be given any blind trust, period. But this is what I'm saying. I mean, if I had when I made comments about not liking the big, beautiful bill, I got no comments like that. Everything was, what, Damon, what do you mean? You can't question Trump.
Right. Just the opposite.
Just the opposite of everything I'm getting on now on this.
I can understand blind trust in the way that this person articulated here on X, like, blind trust. But my point on the trust thing is he's given us every reason to trust him. That's all. And his judgment to be trusted. And I think you're right. There are things that we can't just blindly, just say, do whatever the hell you want to do. But at the end of the day, he's given us every reason to trust him. So I would argue that point over and over with anybody that says that he shouldn't be trusted.
Yeah, I would say with some stuff like this, where you see this type of kind of a standoffish kind of thing,
Super serious
Yeah,
stuff.
he's been pretty good. I think you're right to say, just trust his instincts, like Damon was saying, to say he's gonna look for the right thing to do. It may not be right there, right at this second, right now, and easy to see, but maybe this is part of that process. He's trying to get to that point.
Well, do you remember he was this person criticized him back with COVID and all that kind of stuff. I remember through all of that and all of Trump's first presidency, he was surrounded by people that lied to him.
Oh, yeah.
Even his vice president, by the way, who's no angel, okay? Pence, I don't know what happened to that guy, but he was surrounded by people that lied to him, including being influenced greatly to trust Fauci. I remember him not, that going back and forth where he was, not really trusting a guy, then trusting him. I think he felt a little pressure. He's learned his lessons for sure. You can see that by the administration he has around him and people. But he got manipulated a little bit that first term, which is why I trust him so much more now. I did trust him back then, but now I'm at a 10 with him because of that.
All right, quick hour one, hour two coming back. We'll do some news with Delgado and with Vinnie Mac. Live from Studio 6B right after this.
Yeah, there's lots of comments about this. Linda Dooley saying, I don't give anybody blind trust, and I get that. I think that's a fair comment. It's okay. Maybe I have a little more trust with him than you do, but that's all good. I think it's a fair comment. And Laura Weiner says he still has people around him that shouldn't be, and that's true too. Not nearly what it was in his first term. His first term, he was surrounded by just some of the worst people that had bad intentions for him constantly. Now I think he's got a really good group around him, and it's Washington, man. It's filled with the deep state and fake people and corruption. And it's hard to be perfect, in that type of environment. I think he's doing pretty good, though, considering what we've seen in the past.
Definitely with the people. I mean, I'm sure there's still a fair amount of sludge, around his feet.
Definitely.
That he's got to be aware of. But, I mean, one of the people that he trusted a lot was Chris Christie.
He trusted Chris Christie.
He's going to drop them. He's going to drop him on them if they don't give up pretty soon. That's what I've heard.
Whatever happened to him?
And the beach chair that he sits in.
Cream?
Have you seen these tweets that someone's coming up with from Trump about?
No.
Oh, really? Oh, you got to see some of these.
You know what I want to show you?
Like this one today. Aaron, throw this one up.
Send Hillary.
Sure.
Hey.
Is he actually putting these up? Or
She'll
is
hang him
somebody
to
else?
dry.
No, someone's putting them up.
Yeah, they're just jokes.
But they had one.
She'll hang him to dry. That girl.
Yeah, here it is.
Up. Super chat, boys. Thank you, Les Durham, in the YouTube super chat.
You know what? I would be okay with him putting that tweet out there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sure.
Hey guys, today is David Wiles' birthday. Chats wish you happy birthday, brother.
All right,
David Wiley Wiles is
Happy
he's had some issues health wise, so he's been a good chatter on the YouTube, and so David Wiley Wiles, as I call him, we love you, brother. Hope you get better soon. Thank you, Les Durham. $5.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Paul Ryan, to me, was the one. I mean, Mitch McConnell, horrid.
Paul Ryan. Freaking
Man,
weasel.
that I just despise
weasel.
that guy for
Weasel.
what he did in Trump's first term. Or really what he didn't do, but
Terrible.
what he did.
Totally undermined him.
Undermined
Totally.
at a level. I mean, he's sort of my Lindsey Graham now. Like Lindsey, I'm a little shaky with Lindsey Graham right now.
Yeah, shill.
I'm a little shaky with him.
It's Big D, Double Dizzle, and the 6B Brizzle live on Real America's Voice Vizzle, baby.
That schnizzle will be
All right,
shouting out
Snoop,
Big
thanks.
D.
9 o'clock, live from Studio 6B, Hour 2.
that was
Real
big.
America's Voice all across the country. 103.9 LI News Radio. Suffolk County, Long Island. Glad you're all in. Whether you're watching on X, YouTube, Rumble, Getter, Facebook, wherever you're watching, we appreciate the chat as well. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe. Make sure you head over to livefromstudio6b.com as well. Sign up to be a member there. Slick's here. He's going to do some more sports. Delgado's going to do some headlines. Vinnie Mac's going to do some news. All coming up right now, 9 o'clock on the East Coast. Let's do some of the greatest headlines in the world right now with Rick Delgado. They're brought to you by our friends over at EternalLifeCoin.com. EternalLifeCoin.com. What's going on, Delgado?
All right. Well, you mentioned the greatest headlines in the world. Sure, let's get to them, Damon. One of the greatest headlines came yesterday, but we didn't have a chance to get to it.
Oh, how we missed that?
This one, a Supreme Court decision.
Too busy talking about Jon Stewart.
That D-bag, sure. Supreme Court upholds Tennessee's ban on transgender drugs for kids.
Big deal.
This is a huge deal as it sends basically the left into a tizzy. I believe that's a technical word I just used there. The Supreme Court on Wednesday upheld that Tennessee law prohibiting transgender drugs and surgeries for children, a major win for conservative activists and parents groups around the country. The court ruled 6-3 because the other three are brain dead. United States versus Skrmetti, that the Tennessee law does not violate the 14th Amendment of Equal Protection Clause. Tennessee's Attorney General Jonathan Skrmetti defended the law before the High Court in December, saying it was a matter of protecting kids from the consequences of decisions they cannot fully understand. Chief Justice John Roberts penned the court's opinion, then said the plaintiffs contort the meaning of the term medical treatment. Notably absent from their framing is the key aspect of any medical treatment, the underlying medical concern the treatment is intended to address, Roberts wrote. The law does not prohibit conduct for one sex that it permits for the other. So that's great news. Justice Clarence Thomas wrote the concurring opinion in which he said there is no medical consensus on how to best treat gender dysphoria in children, and recent revelations suggest the leading voices in this area have relied on questionable evidence and have allowed their ideology to influence their medical guidance. Of course, we had the typical, the transgender wannabes that wrote the dissent, Sonia Sotomayor, Justice Alina Kagan, and Ketanji Brown Jackson, who still can't identify a woman. They decided to vote against it. So there you have it. Big win for kids and for parents to make sure that their kids don't get manipulated and destroyed by wackos who want to turn them into something they're not.
And you see, like, Elizabeth Warren and some of the replies to this? I mean, it's
No,
just-
I didn't. Thankfully. Or else I would have ended up like yesterday with Jon Stewart.
How is cutting off body parts like considered whatever the word she uses, like, oh, so much, much needed medical help or
Oh,
whatever.
gender-affirming care?
However she frames it. It's like, what the hell are you talking about, you lunatic? It's the callous nature of these people and the demented view they have of this is, no matter how many times you see it, it's still just, I don't know.
It's not their real
It's disgusting.
view. It's a political view. What scares me out of all this?
I don't
to
know
this
about
story,
that, Vin. I think some of them actually.
Maybe they believe it. I think they believe whatever makes them get votes and keeps their
I think they believe what they're
progressives
told
happy.
to believe.
But 3 Supreme Court justices, dissented on this, right? Mm-hmm. And we've seen this with almost every Supreme Court thing. And we have to have a sane Supreme Court because we have an insane Democratic Party right now. And when you have 3 of them that constantly side in an insane way, doesn't that make you nervous?
Yeah. Because it just takes a couple of the Amy Coney Barrett types to swing over to that side with John Roberts, and then you've got a problem.
The one thing we rely on is their sanity. And I know 3 of them are insane. There might be another 1 or 2, right?
Yeah, heading down that road.
We've talked about it for as long as I've done this show, that they put the black robes on, and all of a sudden they think that they're smarter than everybody else. We've got Scalia. We had Scalia. We have Justice Thomas now. And, we always think we're 1 or 2 away from a conservative court. But yet we're still dealing with these issues where you wake up on some of these cases. And there's a bunch of big cases, by the way, coming out right now.
Yeah.
Besides this one, there's more to come. That all of a sudden something that's never meant to be a human right all of a sudden is, and something that clearly is all of a sudden isn't. And that's just, I don't think what the founders had in mind when the actual one court that they actually did create. I don't think this is what they saw coming.
Mitch McConnell's got his hands all over this, frankly, because the loonies on the left got a couple of people, but we had a few good choices that he influenced big time.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw this, Damon, but since you were in Connecticut yesterday, maybe you were there.
Well,
I don't know. Former President Obama speaking at a sold-out event in Hartford. Did you happen to catch that?
Oh,
You were in
yeah.
Connecticut?
No, I was
He was
about
double parked for that one.
35 minutes from that. If I was 35 seconds, I still wouldn't have tried to go.
Come on.
Well, the 44th president was out speaking at the Connecticut Forum. The event took place in Hartford, and in his speech, Obama spoke about his presidency, his work in the Obama Foundation, and he also touched on some challenges that he faces today. Here are some clips from some of the things he was talking about. I don't know if you saw this. He's been out there. I guess he's just opining for that ministry of truth that he never got to put in place. Here's cut number 5. Here's Obama talking about exactly what that is. Cut 5.
But part of what we're going to have to do is to start experimenting with new forms of journalism and how do we use social media in ways that reaffirm facts, separate facts from opinion. We want diversity of opinion. We don't want diversity of fact. By the way, it will require some government, I believe, some government regulatory constraints around some of these business models in a way that's consistent with the First Amendment, but that also says...
Yeah, they mix really well. Government and the First Amendment.
Yes, censorship works very well.
There is a difference between
Come on,
these
Pop, spit it out.
platforms
Man, he's losing it.
letting all voices be heard
Hey,
versus
man,
a
drag it
business
out.
model that elevates
Maple syrup out of a tree.
the most hateful voices or the most polarizing voices or the most
Slow and
Dude,
It's his First Amendment, then he
dangerous
does
in the
this.
sense of
Been hanging out with
inciting
Biden.
violence.
blow this guy up.
Get this guy up. The most dangerous person that's ever assumed the office. The most dangerous person who's ever held the office, done more damage to this country than anyone ever, maybe combined. That man right there.
True.
That's
and what's
absolutely
amazing
true.
is,
That is the damn truth.
we're making fun of how slow he's talking, but he's doing it for a reason.
Yeah.
Because he can't tell the truth, and he's trying to make sure he doesn't slip up.
Right.
That's the verbal gymnastics that he was going through right there, just to make sure he didn't say what he really wanted to say in layman's terms. He had to, kind of jump through all these hoops. Here he is talking a little more verbal gymnastics on the censorship. Cut number 8. Check this out, Damon, and don't freak out.
Democracy is not self-executing. It requires people, judges and people in the Justice Department and
Justice.
Yep.
Democracy.
People throughout the government who take an oath to uphold the Constitution.
Right.
When that isn't happening,
He's got to be so careful.
we start drifting
So you know he's lying.
into something that is not consistent with American democracy. It is consistent with autocracies. We're not there yet completely, but I think that we are
Close?
we are dangerously close.
Oh, God. Aaron, please.
normal.
Well, please.
Oh my God!
He should know
What a
because
sap.
he initiated much of this nonsense that we've seen with
worst. He's the worst
using the IRS, using the Justice Department, using every department to take down his enemies. And of course, Biden perfected it, but Obama started it. He's an expert in this particular.
He did go on to say that he's still considered the hope guy. So if you're looking for hope, you can look to him.
Really?
He's
yeah.
the hope guy.
He's a hope guy.
What do you
And
think
that
about that?
and
He's
that
a
he
hope you
hopes
never go for office
Yeah,
again.
hopeless.
hope you stay out of the public eye.
Oh, please.
And hope you stay out of the government.
I'm curious what you think about this.
break.
That guy killed us.
Our good
He
friend
cost us a
that Damon
fortune.
and I know, his name's Dan, he created a business a few years ago called One News. It's all about citizen journalism. And you look at where news and media and journalism is now, to what Obama was kind of talking about. He's like, oh, the government should manage it. You know what? No, citizen journalists now are turning the corner on that because we don't believe the journalists now. But
Right.
people who are making a video of something contradicting what you're seeing on TV, like peaceful riots, that seems to be the place where the safe space. Citizen journalists enabling that.
Yeah, I mean, government-controlled media is what you have in communist countries. I
mean-
wonder why he would want that.
I mean, the guy says, to make sure it aligns with the First Amendment, and then spends 10 minutes after that talking about everything that doesn't.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's why you have to read what he says and not
Yes.
listen, because he's a great speaker and he says really bad stuff.
Plus, the way he was presenting it there, he'll lull you to sleep, and you'll forget what he was
that
talking
was
about.
a Sominex moment. Yes.
And of course, he's got to find a way to of course, as he did for 8 years, smash the country. We're drifting. We're not. Shut up.
Not
we're
a
doing just
cheerleader.
fine.
Yeah. You know,
It's amazing. After 8 years of we've
It is.
recovered.
8 years, man.
Thank God for President Trump.
You know
How
what's
about you
funny?
just shut up and go away? Take Hillary with you too.
Please.
You know
In a
what's good about
handbasket.
what you said about the citizen journalism part? That's the part that he has a problem with.
Yeah.
That's the exact reason he's talking about this right now like that, because they don't control the media anymore. They don't have control of the narratives. They try to put them out there, but they get blown up very quickly. And he mentions, these platforms that they're on. Yeah, the platforms that the people are on.
Yeah.
He don't like the people talking. And Democrats don't like it.
Yeah. And more people consume citizen journalism than consume the news and the media. I mean,
Yeah.
look, we talked about the ratings of CNN alone, right? I
Yeah.
mean, 300,000-400,000 people watching them.
It's like
in
a
prime
WNBA
time.
game.
Yeah, I mean, it's insanity. So more people are paying attention to that, and I think it's, overall, I think it's a good thing.
Anything else, Delgado?
Yeah, I got some Caroline Levitt. She had some words about what was going on at the border. This will be a quick one. Here she is talking about the illegals that have been released into the U.S. with some great numbers cut for.
And this particular statistic is absolutely astounding. In the month of May, under the Trump administration, 0 illegal aliens were released into our country
That's right.
by Border Patrol. Let me say that again. Not a single illegal alien was released into the interior of the United States of America last month under this administration.
Amazing.
There you go.
That's astonishing.
That's amazing. Thank God.
All right, live from Studio 6B. More to do. More sports with Slick, Vinnie Mac. More news with Delgado, Aaron Friend, holding it down as always on a Thursday night. Tomorrow we're back at the America First Warehouse.
Oh, yeah.
We're back right after this.
You should be on the show. Come on.
Dude, the screw came out.
I was trying to get in, and I see Delgado there, and I said,
Those
how do you open
shorts
this
are
thing? He
beautiful.
goes, you just pull it really hard.
Those are priceless, those shorts. All right. Man, your ball sack can hang 3 inches low, man. It's beautiful, man. Look at those. No, the shorts.
Damon.
Harachis. He's wearing harachis.
He's wearing man.
All you need is a big stick.
Trim your toenails?
It's a good thing we're in the break. Harry's language is priceless. Are they listening to this? Hold on. Dude, that's a. Come on, that's an autonomy.
Well, I'm just asking.
No, that's a real question.
That's a real question.
Family show.
I mean, what? Huh? Okay.
Isabel, that's the one I saw her Instagram, right? Yeah. That's a very nice personality.
Okay.
That wouldn't take much.
Oh, they sent more? I sent 5 bags. I got 5 bags of these nuts.
Well, you got more nuts?
Yeah, more nuts.
Who sent more nuts?
Oh, you know what?
Hey, Mary
Aaron.
Smith, the DNC is broke.
Wait, Aaron sent them?
No one's giving him money.
I sent you a clip.
Wait, where'd we get more bags?
I gave you a whole
night.
bag the other night. What are you talking about?
Did you make it?
We got more bags? I don't need that crap.
Oh, I thought you were playing.
Captain
I
Crunch.
thought you made beaver nuts.
You could this. It's a
That's
0.
okay.
No, but I thought we got more.
All right,
I was listening,
for the chat,
Aaron.
for the
I was
chat.
listening.
Since we got 5 more bags of beaver nuts, for the chat only, cut 3. I sent this to Aaron to play for us. This is just for us for fun during the break.
What the fudge are beaver nuggets?
I dunno, but I'm about to find out. I don't need to know what's in these, but I'm hooked.
Beaver nuggets aren't the only nuggets that Bigfoot likes.
They went to Buc-ee's.
Wait a minute, what do you mean?
I never heard of these things, man.
What
until
are the
they showed
nuggets
up.
does Bigfoot like?
Bigfoot and Yeti went to Buc-ee's, and they love the beaver nuggets.
Sounds like a joke coming here. Bigfoot and Yeti went to.
Look, this game is over. Look at Indiana. This game's over. Indiana's up by 5. It's done.
That's me.
Harry Oates. Why is it? How did it?
I don't know.
Thursday night shirt night.
Michael McGuire says, please tell Doug Otto we don't care about Obama, which I totally get.
But
We
you know
don't
what?
either.
we have to know that he's still out there trying to do.
Okay.
He's still out there trying to do damage.
Sound like the blues on a Thursday. Let me talk to you about our friends over at the Wellness Company. A new administration in Washington, D.C. has brought a lot of positive changes when it comes to fixing our broken healthcare system. The reality is, however, that there is only so much the government can do, and that if we really want to make America healthy again, it's going to start at home, and each and every one of us is going to play a big part. And that's where the Wellness Company comes in. You can see and hear from the Wellness Company doctors all the time right here on, of course, Real America's Voice, and you know their products are the gold standard for keeping you and your family safe and healthy. The Wellness Company gives you the opportunity to make sure you are prepared for whatever happens with their series of prescription medical kits that contain an assortment of life-saving medications and guidebooks to assist in the proper use of all the medications that come in any of those kits. So you'll know exactly what to do, how to take it. You get a great guidebook along. Additionally, the Wellness Company offers a variety of products from parasite cleanses to methylene blue to weight loss and so much more that can help you stay healthy and live longer and a more satisfying life. Make America healthy again. Like I said, starts at home. Do your part. Protect the health of you and your family. Go to twc.health/voice, twc.health/voice today and order. That's twc.health/voice. Use promo code VOICE to save an additional 10% from our friends over at the Wellness Company. Go there today. twc.health/voice. Use promo code VOICE to save an additional 10%. All right, live from Studio 6B. Vinnie Mac is here.
They have methylene blue, huh? I didn't know that.
They do, but they do not have anything for your Lipitor Crestor, so maybe we should talk to them about what you can do, maybe something they have.
I will.
That can help you.
Let's have a discussion with the doctor.
Well, we'll let you do that, since you're obviously being your own doctor and taking yourself off of your medication before talking to who is your doctor? Dr. Vinny Vumba? Who is it?
Oh, yeah, my doctor. She's really nice.
Here we go.
Oh, one of those, huh?
All right, let's do Vin's news before we get sidetracked here. 19 past the hour. What's going on, Vinny?
Oh, man, there's so many things. There's something that actually made me laugh today because it's one of those sick, sad things that, yeah, thank you. Yeah. And you know I don't drink. Jeez.
Why not?
Anyhow, yeah, I know.
Not for long.
There was an interview done with some protesters. You know, they're protesting our involvement with Iran now. So they had these ex-Doge, the protested Doge. By the way, they're all buying Teslas again. Who would have known? The ex-Free Palestine protesters, the ex-ICE protesters, are now protesting in favor of Iran. And they interviewed a protester, and he said, well, I've been told to protest so many different things, but sometimes I forget what we're protesting, and I wore the wrong shirt. They're literally just recycling these people out for whatever cause they're doing. And I'm loving every second of it because the Democratic Party, we're watching them self-destruct in front of us. This video, did you play the video last night of the ad on immigration, on immigrants? There's a couple.
No, the couple. No, I wanted to save that for a Friday discussion. But if you want to play,
well, I don't have. I'm not going to run the ad. I'm just talking about the ad and how they're self-destructing. They put out an ad. Eric Swalwell puts it on his X, feed, like he's super proud of this. It's basically a couple. Just a couple, two American kids, on a date, and the girl must have been Latina, and she gets arrested and pulled away. Like, that's what ICE is doing. They're taking innocent people who are here living in this country, who are probably citizens, and pulling them away. This is the narrative. And it's a narrative that nobody can take seriously.
No.
It's a narrative that infuriates me in many ways, but also I kind of look at it with a wink and nod, like, yeah, keep doing this stuff. I mean, if you think, Trump won in a landslide, wait till 26 when the midterms come, because you can't survive with this type of nonsense. And then the serious stuff that's on my mind that's happening here, it's just an example of what we're going to see in the blue states. Governor Hochul, who's the governor in New York State, a disaster of a governor, by the way, we're broke.
Hochul.
Who the hell's Hochul?
I'm going to mispronounce her name as much as I could.
No offense here.
Governor Yokel Hochul. We're broke. We're overtaxed. Our services are overburdened and have not the same amount of support it used to. But she decides it's a good idea to throw $50 million, put it aside to defend illegals and pay lawyers to defend them. She decides this is a good thing that we should be doing. We're putting them up already in housing. And this is not just New York. This is every blue state. This is going on in California. This is going on in every state that is blue. They're allocating not only monies to support these people, but now monies to defend them while ICE is trying to get rid of them. So who's going to make money here? The lawyers, the left-wing lawyers. So we're just seeing a pattern of insanity that plays right into our hands. So I just say to everybody, it does make you angry. It might freak you out a little when you see this stuff, but it's so nonsensical. Let them keep doing this because they're going to just destroy themselves. So those are a couple of things, Big D, that caught my attention, gave me a chuckle, and I thought were worth noting.
All right, very good, Vin. Well, we'll do some more news with Vin before the end of the show. Let's do some more sports with Slick. Sports is brought to you by Mike Lindell. LFS6B is the promo code to use if you want to shop at MyPillow for all some great stuff, whether it's for birthdays or celebrations or just for yourself. Use code LFS6B at checkout. It'll give you a great savings. Slickster, what's going on?
All right, Big D. Oh, big Game 6, obviously in Indiana tonight. It's all on the line for the Pacers. They need to win to force a Game 7 on Sunday night. I think they will. Right now, they lead the Thunder 34-31. Obviously, 3 points ain't much of a big lead, but 9:05 to go in the second. I just like the tempo of the game, and I do think that Indiana is going to win this game and force a Game 7. Again, the series right now, 3-2, OKC leading, but we watch. It's must-see TV. You just feel like, I don't want to say things are fixed, but I don't know. I just got that vibe that Tyrese Halliburton and his crew are going to pull it out tonight. And again, I'm looking forward to a big Game 7. I'll give you some baseball score updates a little bit later. later. But I want to get to cut 2, Aaron. Adrian Peterson gets in fist fight at a poker game. Adrian Peterson, one of the greatest running backs in NFL history, right? Fantasy football, one of the all-time favorites, right? Almost had a shot at breaking Emmett's record if he would have stayed healthy and stayed straight. He didn't. He obviously didn't do that. But Dylan Gwynn and Breitbart, Adrian Peterson's competitiveness on the football field is well known. However, as one card player discovered, he's also plenty competitive at the poker table, kind of like Big D, right? At the poker table. Video obtained by TMZ Sports circulated on Thursday, showing the former Viking springing up from his chair at a poker table to throw his hands with another player. Another man stepped in between the two, trying to keep the peace, but not really succeeding. Aaron, you got that? All right, man. Cut 2. Look at this. Aaron, man, Adrian Peterson's lost his bird, man.
Yeah, he's the one in the white T-shirt. Tough to see. It kind of opens up right over here is where you get a better view of this fight. And he's not that good a fighter.
Not the greatest clip, but lots of yelling and commotion. Attended the event as other players and onlookers jumped to their feet to hold back other men. You know, it's a shame the way he... Look at this. Oh, my gosh. Good Lord.
I wonder what card room that is.
Wait a minute, Big D, you been over there?
No, I'd like to know. I'd like to find out where it is, though.
How's the cigars there? Anyway, Peterson's unidentified opponent landed some clean shots as the 15-year veteran attempted to close the distance. Peterson slipped and ate a few more shots, like Rick said, before getting to his feet and forcing the man into a corner by a bunch of tables where he landed some shots of his own. Peterson has played cards competitively. Oh, he's a competitor. Since his retirement in 2021. He's also fought some since retirement. In 2022, he was knocked out in an exhibition against fellow former NFL running back Le'Veon Bell. Remember that one? Way back when? That was a couple of years ago. And no, nobody remembers that. But anyway, just the same. I'll tell you, Adrian Peterson, one of the greatest backs in the NFL history, really going down the
What happened to that guy?
These guys, I tell you, and they don't realize social media, dudes, just stay home, relax, play video poker. Right. Maybe you'll win a few bucks on the internet. Dude, come on. Anyway, Big D, that's a wrap in sports with 1 minute to go right now. Indiana leading 39-33. Come on, Pacers. Forced game 7.
All right, 26 past the hour, live from Studio 6B. More to do.
Wait to the break, man.
When we get back, Real America's Voice and across the airways of 103.9 LI News Radio. We're back right after this.
Let's get back to those Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders here for a minute.
Oh, Jerry. You got all these other bigs. Throw it out. Oh, those are yours. Oh, like that Thai pizza the other night.
You can't bring that home.
Did you eat that whole pie on Saturday? Get out of here. You didn't eat that whole thing. That was a good pie. We getting pizza tomorrow night? What about tomorrow? What are we having tomorrow night? We having something tomorrow night?
Well, I don't pick it. Last week, I got a text from him saying I demand the 2 pies again.
He didn't say he demanded. He requested. Big difference.
There was no demand.
Demand is fake news. He said requested.
Oh, okay, good to know. So tomorrow night I'll say no when you text me.
I'll request that you pay for it, Delgado. That bacon upside down pizza was damn good. That was
right. So look, complain. Now he's talking about it like
the Thai pizza was good too. Maybe we want to flip that.
I saw another pizza on their menu. I was looking at their menu yesterday.
Oh, have you really? Doing a little groundwork.
We picked up some shots. What is it?
More preparation for pizza than he does for news.
That's another statement. That's another statement. Harry, go to Little Vinny's give Harry hot honey.
Wait, I'm sorry.
Hot honey goat bullshit.
Harry, it's been a long time since Harry had a hot honey.
You request a what? Hot honey.
Harry hasn't had hot honey in months.
No, hot honey's good.
Nobody eats hot honey.
Any of their squares are good. Their squares are
hot honey. Hot honey is good stuff, man. That's the
They got the honey pep, I think it's called. Oh man.
Oh really? The honey what?
It's called honey pep, I think.
Why don't we have that tomorrow night?
You got the vodka margarita.
Is it a Sicilian or is it, what is it?
Oh, they have a crumbled sausage vodka square.
Oh, that's the one I saw.
Oh, my God.
That's the one I saw yesterday.
What's wrong with you?
Insanity.
That's the one I saw yesterday.
Treat us. We want to eat. Come on.
That's the one I saw yesterday.
Okay,
I was
so
like,
we'll put that one on for tomorrow night.
Oh, that sounds good.
The
crumbled sausage.
Hang
the
on.
honey pep.
Crumbled sausage vodka deal.
Yeah, crumbling vodka, it's called.
Yeah, crumbling vodka. We'll get that.
Oh, my God.
And then what's the one you want, Aaron?
Oh, Harry,
Well, tell Harry
stay
to
home.
stop at the
Regular pizza. Harry,
Domino's.
go to Little Vinny's and get 2 slices for $6 and call it a
Go
night.
to Little Vinny's.
Harry, maybe you and I should go get some pizza.
So I should just
Take
expect
Brian
some like
Glenn likes
Helios and
likes
Hot
Little
Pockets.
Vinny's. Take Brian with him.
Where's that one? Aunt Danielle? Oh, but that's a round pie.
No. Stay away from the rounds.
No, we want
They're good.
Damon
They're
likes square
They're like
pies.
7 to 8.
You know what?
Squares are like 9.
Damon takes the 4 and 3. There's 4 ends.
Yes, that's a 10.
Right, Damon grabs 3
Yeah, we'll
ends.
get
I
that
grab
one.
one.
Give me
You
a
want
square,
that?
give me a
You
round.
definitely want that.
Give me a friggin' slice of pepperoni.
And then they have something pep, the honey pep, I think it's called. All right, 30 minutes past the hour, live from Studio 6B on a Thursday night. Real America's Voice all across the country, 103.9 LI News Radio, Suffolk County, Long Island on your radio. Glad you're all in. Slick's going to get some more sports in. Delgado's going to get some more news, along with Vinnie Mac, Aaron and Fran holding it down. Harry on the highways in the building as well. And, of course, you, the live from Studio 6B audience, wherever you're watching. YouTube, X, Rumble, Facebook, Getter, Kick, wherever I'm missing. We appreciate all of you giving us a few hours of your weekday nights, 8 to 10, right here on Real America's Voice, like I said. Please welcome back to the show, Editor-in-Chief over at AMAC Newsline. That's Shane Harris. Shane, welcome back to the show. How are you?
Good. Thanks for having me.
Always a pleasure to have you on. Delgado did this in our news in the first hour, the Supreme Court ruling upholding Tennessee's ban on transgender drugs and surgeries for minors. Tell me about this court ruling and what do you think it means, not only to the broader cultural perspective, compared to obviously where we were. I've been saying for a long time this is an issue that we are absolutely winning big time on. Now you have this ruling. Tell me what your thoughts are.
Yeah, so it's a great ruling, obviously a great win for parents, a great win for kids. And the important thing, I think, is that this has implications far beyond Tennessee. There's about half the states that have passed laws that are similar to Tennessee's. And so this clears a way for all of those to go into effect. And one of the really interesting things, I think, about this ruling and this whole issue in general is where this started. And, you know, I think that sports actually played a very big role in this, because if you go back, if you look at the history of this issue, where I really think the tide turned and where we started winning on this issue, where conservatives started winning, was on the sports issue. When you have men competing in women's sports, and it's a very public thing, it kind of exposes how ridiculous the whole movement is. And so everything I see is kind of being downhill from that. Once everybody kind of got on board and said, oh, yeah, this is ridiculous. We can't have grown men competing against women in sports. You know, the whole narrative starts to unravel a little bit. And I think that really led to this ruling.
Yeah. I think some of the other work that some of these other groups have done, conservative groups, I know the Daily Wire, Matt Walsh, those guys did a big undercover over at one of the hospitals in Nashville, taking on this issue and showing some of the stuff that was going on there as well. So there's been a lot of it, but I think you're right. We've been winning on this issue for a while. Is there anything else about the ruling that kind of like jumped out at you or stuck with you about it?
Yeah, no, it's interesting where I think it really highlighted the divide that's going on in the country was also reflected in the justices. So there was a 6-3 ruling, but the concurring opinion from Justice Thomas and Justice Amy Coney Barrett were actually really interesting, because they made this point that we can't just blindly trust the so-called experts or the self-appointed experts. And if you look at the dissenting opinion from the 3 Democrat-appointed justices, they actually argue the opposite, that we should just blindly trust the experts. And so, you know, we saw it with COVID. We saw it with Joe Biden's cognitive decline. The experts are saying he's completely fine. And now we're seeing it with transgenderism. And that's where I think the divide really exists, is on the one side, you have people who are willing to just blindly trust anyone who says they're an expert on the issue. But then on the other side, you have people who are much more critical of that. And so when you really get down to it, that's where I think the divide is. But much like the court's ruling was 6-3, the American public now, a vast majority of the public is on what I like to call team sanity or team common sense, where they understand the lies of transgenderism and how harmful it is to kids.
Yeah. Speaking of team common sense, someone who's not on that team is Chief Massachusetts. And that, of course, is Elizabeth Warren. Her response, along with many other Democratic responses, were, well, I guess in one breath surprising, and I guess in another not surprising at all, because they think this is one of those 95-5 issues that they're going to be on the 5% side and win somehow still. She says this in her response: trans kids suffer when they don't get medically necessary care. This is a brazen political decision by the Supreme Court. My heart is with trans kids and their loved ones. I won't stop fighting to make sure they can be exactly who they are. I have no idea what that last part of it means, but the first part, medically necessary care. What's medically necessary about chopping your something off? I don't. What is with this response?
Yeah, it's precisely the opposite of medically necessary. And unfortunately, once again, this is just the divide that we're seeing in the country, where one side has deluded themselves into thinking that prescribing cross-sex hormones or chemical castration drugs that they give to sex offenders, or surgeries for minors that are completely medically unnecessary are somehow life-saving. Even though you have people who are in the gender transition industry who are coming out and saying how manipulative and exploitative it is, the fact that you still have people like Elizabeth Warren coming out and saying these things, I mean, it just shows how much they exist in an information silo where all they're hearing from is that 5 to 10% of the population that are the most radical on this issue. Meanwhile, a vast majority of the country, super majority in most cases, depending on the question and how you ask it, are opposed to her stance.
Yeah. Just quickly before I let you go, anything else you want to talk about? What's going on at AMAC Newswire? What are you guys working on? Stories coming up? What's going on over there?
Yeah. So we've been covering everything from the LA riots to the Supreme Court case. A lot of the stories that the corporate media isn't covering, like you guys do here at Real America's Voice. So over at amac.us/newsline, we've got news stories up every day, interviews, breaking news, all of it. So definitely check us out.
Very good. Shane Harris over at AMAC Newswire. And, of course, you can just go to amac.us/Studio6B if you want to sign up, become a member of AMAC Nation there. And AMAC, the great people, by the way, and they have great stuff. And they're working on, things that you care about. And your money is going to fund things that you believe in, which is a nice change from the other people. So amac.us/Studio6B, amac.us/Studio6B. Shane, always appreciate a few moments. Thanks a lot.
All right, thanks.
All right, Shane Harris from AMAC Newsline. Check them out. And, of course, go to amac.us/Studio6B. Let's do some headlines with Rick Delgado. Delgado, what's going on?
Let's see. I've got some breaking news here, Damon, which is, goes back to the big topic we were talking about the first hour, Israel and Iran. Iran State TV is actually claiming the streets are empty in Tehran, Damon, because everybody's headed out on vacation. So this is that's the kind of media I think Obama was talking about.
Yeah.
But the other big news, and again, this is breaking news, unconfirmed reports, high-ranking Iranian regime official eliminated. Could be the Ayatollah Trump assassination video posted on the Ayatollah's website. And Ynet News is picking up the Ayatollah story. Let me get to that for you right now. According to Ynet News, and this is coming out, Israel attacked Iran, an area where Khamenei reportedly hiding. Smoke is also seen billowing from the site. Iran reported that smoke is billowing in the Lavazin area of the capital of Tehran as a result of an Israeli strike. Last Sunday, of course, the Iran International website reported from two knowledgeable sources that an Iran supreme leader, Khamenei, was moved to an underground bunker in that area, northeast of Tehran, hours after Israel began its attacks on Tehran on Friday morning. According to the report, all members of Khamenei's family, including his son, are with him in that area. So right now, that's what they're reporting, that the Israelis may have gone right for the head of the snake. That's something we were talking about earlier.
Yep. And you have to. Yeah, in this case, when you have a radical, crazy, completely nut job run by an ideology that's based on hate and destruction, I mean, you have no choice.
Yeah.
You got to do that.
And it could be, and let's face it, it could be that this was the final straw for Israel as they vow revenge for Iran's missile attack on a hospital that just happened that killed 70. Israel struck first, of course, on June 12th. But of course, I'm talking about this hospital strike from Iran. This is from John Solomon's Just the News. Israeli foreign minister said Thursday that Iran's missile attack on a hospital is a war crime and vowed revenge as the Middle East countries enter their second week of reciprocal strikes. He also said 70 people were injured in the attack earlier at the Soroka Hotel, or hospital, I should say. Big difference. Let's see, about 70 people were injured, and these comments coming from the press person just outside the facility. Here is Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt when pressed about President Trump and what he thinks. Here is what she says about Donald Trump wanting to use diplomacy. This is cut number 6. Check this out.
So the president is always interested in a diplomatic solution to the problems and the global conflicts in this world. Again, he is a peacemaker in chief. He is the peace through strength president. And so if there's a chance for diplomacy, the president's always going to grab it. But he's not afraid to use strength as well, I will add.
Yeah. So,
I mean, she also said in that press conference today that their intel, or at least what she's telling us, is that Iran's ready to make a bomb. All they need is the go-ahead from the supreme leader, according to her. That's what she said in this press conference today. And the other thing I keep hearing, and I don't know how the hands-off crowd, whatever we want to call them, the crowd that just says, let everything be, don't worry about it, let's just worry about what's going on inside our own borders. I hear even our own senators today, I forget who it was. I think it was Jeff Merkley on CNN. And in one breath, he's trying to act as if the Trump administration is rushing and propagandizing the timeline. And you hear a lot of this from the people who are saying, you know, Trump's off his gourd. We shouldn't be doing anything. This is nonsense. They've been saying they've been saying they're close for years. What's different now? So I hear Jeff Merkley, and in one breath, he's trying to act like, you know, they're overdoing it. And she says, well, so what's the intel that you're seeing? And he says, well, it's not days away. He said, from what I see, what they have to do, they've got to make it, they've got to put it in, they've got to do this, they've got to do that. It's probably more like 4 to 6 months. And I'm thinking,
what an idiot. Absolute idiot.
What? And?
Yeah. Trump's overreacting completely. It's
Let's all go on vacation.
Yeah.
Nothing to worry about here.
Yeah. This is just disgraceful. Dumb and disgraceful.
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. Finally, Damon, on this, on the Iran-Israel war, I guess we'll call it. Here's cut number 7. Here's Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt with a message from President Trump directly speaking about Iran. So it's very clear for everyone. Cut 7.
Now, regarding the ongoing situation in Iran, I know there has been a lot of speculation amongst all of you in the media regarding the president's decision-making and whether or not the United States will be directly involved. In light of that news, I have a message directly from the president, and I quote, "Based on the fact that there's a substantial chance of negotiations that may or may not take place with Iran in the near future, I will make my decision whether or not to go within the next 2 weeks." That's a quote directly from the president for all of you today.
So there you have it. Quote from the president. He's going to make a decision within the next 2 weeks. It could be tonight. It could be in 2 weeks.
Yep.
You just don't know, which is just the way it should be. They're not going to know until it's already happening.
I mean, that's the whole idea. I mean, we broadcasted too many attacks in the past. I mean...
I will wrap it up. A little more news from Vinnie Mac. More sports with Slick when we get back right after this.
This is a smoke show here. Oh, Joe Rogan. You still have a show, Rogan?
Let's see what's going on social right now.
Chat, live in the chat.
Sherry Black.
Chat's quiet. No super chats. Come on, we got pizza tomorrow night, guys. Come on, gotta eat. I want Big D's bringing me a double upside down bacon and pepperoni pizza.
Too many idiots in power. Sherry Black. I think that's pretty common, pretty well said, and all too common.
Kathy Kirtley. Slick is not wearing his Kiss My Foot. How the hell does she? I think I wore those boots once on this show. Kathy, that's pretty damn good, man. Wow. Jeez.
What did they kiss my what?
They're boots with they're white leather boots, gorgeous boots with Kiss lips on it.
Oh, yeah, cool.
I think I wore them once on the show, maybe twice. No, maybe once. I don't think once.
Jennifer Perryman says, Slick, show me the boots.
I got the boots.
He's got them. You'll see them shortly.
Everybody guessed they're white. And, man, they were right on the money. They guessed, well, it's after Memorial Day, so I could wear white. I told my office, I'm going to wear white boots tonight. But I had an outdoor event. Man, it was hot tonight. Oof.
Was it raining outside?
No. It just started pouring when I left. Oh,
really?
Thank you, Joe Rogan.
Wow, we needed that, man. It was
good thing Joe's on it. 52 degrees. Where the hell is he? In North Dakota right now? 52 degrees. It was like 83 degrees outside. Larry Pitts, $9.99. Thank you, Larry Pitts, in the YouTube chat. Bottom line, I did not raise my 3 kids, 19, 23, and 26, to be productive members of society, to die in another country, in another country.
I mean, Larry, with all due respect, I get that, and people say this to me too. Damon, you have a son of age. Do we? Who's making the argument that we're going to reinstall a draft?
No, are you kidding me?
Is that what we think?
Wars aren't fought that way anymore.
It's just another narrative.
What is that when people say that?
No, it's not fought that way anymore. It's a different world. I mean, yes, we still need some boots on the ground, no question, but...
You looked at the recruitment numbers, by the way? We're meeting all the recruitment numbers way earlier than we were supposed to be.
Yeah.
Thanks to Trump and Hegseth and...
thanks to people...
sense.
All right, 13 to the hour, live from Studio 6B. Let's try to get to everybody here in the final segment. Vinnie Mac, I'll start with you. What else is on your radar?
Yeah, I got one thing I really want to talk about, but I do want to at least acknowledge today's little event that Trump had with the flag and the flagpole and that whole thing that happened yesterday, I thought.
Yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday. I just thought that was a pretty cool moment because he did a press conference and he had the guys that put the flag up behind him, these workers that are nodding and, kind of agreeing, and he's looking over at them. He goes, can you believe this dumb question? Can you believe that? Who are you with? I mean, I thought the whole dynamic was hysterical, but just having the American flag sitting in front of the White House like that.
The best part was the guy sleeping in the truck.
Yes.
Behind.
While everybody else is getting pictures.
Yeah.
Of course, the Democrats boycotted the Joe Biden has lost his mind inquiry. So that pretty much says it all. We all know that's true. But here's the story. It's not the newest story, but it keeps getting a little more steam. And I actually love this, and I wanted to talk about it. We heard, and Trump has said this many times, that he's going to be taking billions that were meant to go to Harvard and universities like that and give it to trade schools. And yeah, people are like, yeah, that's great. Hooray, hooray, hurrah. It's actually much bigger than that. Our Ivy League schools and others, they get a lot of money and they do some great things. They educate some great people. They've been doing some really bad things lately. But there's an entire class of workers and so on in this country that are untrained, and there's so much work for them. And we've sort of lost our way where now we're just hoping that someone learns plumbing and learns how to fix cars and learns how to do all these basic things. This is not like a lighthearted story. It's actually quite meaningful because as Trump brings manufacturing back into this country, he has all these companies investing in this country. We need that infrastructure of trained workers and trained people, especially in the trades that were all so common. It's just 3 or 4 generations now that have completely lost that. There's not a skill set amongst any of them to do the most basic things. I'm not saying everybody, but the vast majority. And I know that, my generation, we were starting to lose that. And that goes back, quite a ways. So the fact that Trump's going to pump money back into it's not just a feel-good thing. It's more about our infrastructure of services and people and jobs. And I think it's not only the right thing to do, but we have to have it if we're going to sustain the way the economy is going, which is back to manufacturing, keeping our services and intelligence and all the high-end things we do, but manufacturing, services, and all those trade-oriented jobs. I mean, that was really the lifeblood of how immigrants became wealthy in this country. Plumbers, electricians, auto mechanics, all these people that built businesses and wealth did it through a trade. It's one of the easier ways. I don't want to say it's an easy job, but it's an easier way to find a skill set and apply it, make money, and build a company. And the fact that we've lost that almost completely with American citizens, is a shame. And it's a great thing that he's doing. And it's underrated, it's underreported, and it's even underthought of in terms of the impact it could have on our country. So, Big D, I wanted to talk about that because I thought, here's something that really we got to shine a light on. And so I'm trying to shine it right now.
I agree.
All right, very good. People are paying attention to things that we're talking about, all the important stuff. Judy on Twitter says, guys, please change the red in the background. It's awful.
I agree.
What red is that? The one behind you?
I guess, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Slick, let's do a little more sports before we wrap it up. Then we'll end with Delgado's news. What else is there to talk about in sports?
Well, NBA, we got the finals. Big D, Game 6 in Indiana, Gainbridge Fieldhouse. Right now, as I called it, the Pacers leading 64-42 at the half. NBA finals. So this is a big game, Big D, for Indiana to hold on. We'll see if they can win it. And I can't believe it. Jalen Williams leads right now all scorers for OKC, 16 points. But I got to tell you, I think this is Indiana's night. I think we're looking at a Game 7 Sunday night, so can't wait for that because it's all over but the crying there. Major League Baseball, one quick sweep through the scoreboard. Pirates and Tigers tied at 4 in a rain delay. Braves, well, they mauled the Mets 7-1, top of the ninth. That game's all over but the crying. Top of the fourth, Orioles 4-1 over the Rays. Twins topple the Reds 12-5 earlier today. Yankees win over the Angels 7-3. Good win for the Yankees. They needed that one. Yep. Nationals 4-3 over the Rockies. That was a final in 11. Tigers topple the Pirates 9-2. Cards edge the White Sox 5-4. Brewers over the Cubs 8-7. Royals over the Rangers 4-1. Diamondbacks top the Blue Jays 9-5. Giants edge the Guardians 2-1. And the Cardinals over the White Sox 8-6. Phillies beat the Marlins 2-1. Astros at the A's, Padres at the Dodgers. Both those games coming up 10:05 and 10:10. Let's get to the Travelers Championship. Big D, round 1 in the book. Austin Eckroat and Scotty Scheffler both tied 8 under on the first round of the day. So we'll keep track of that.
This
I'll
is
have
the
an update
Travelers
tomorrow.
right by my
Travelers Championship.
my old house,
Cromwell, Connecticut.
That's correct.
You like that, Big D? You played that course. No?
I have.
$20 million purse. You didn't win that much money though, did you?
No.
But Austin Eckroat, that's a new name for me. I'm not familiar with that. But good one there. Scotty Scheffler hanging in there. But again, as we always say, we'll see who the big guy is at the end of that. And one more quick story. Education Secretary McMahon, department could reverse girls' sports titles given to transgender males. This is Olivia Rondow of Breitbart Sports. Washington, D.C. U.S. Department of Education Secretary Linda McMahon is putting her foot down on males and girls' sports, confirming that she will revoke funding from states that violate Title IX and potentially reverse titles while celebrating the 53rd anniversary of the landmark equality law. Speaking with an all-female group of reporters at the agency's headquarters on Wednesday to commemorate the anniversary, the Trump appointee said her Title IX Special Investigation Team, SIT, a joint task force with the Department of Justice, is digging into issues brought into the spotlight by star athletes like Riley Gaines. We've taken a very strong effort here at the Department of Education now to investigate and to look at these issues as they come to our attention, because I think it's just so important. McMahon, who co-founded Titan Sports Incorporated, which later became the World Wrestling Federation, WWE, you heard of them, right? Bringing up how Gaines was forced to compete against trans-identified male swimmer Leah Thomas at the 2022 NCAA Championships. The secretary went on to lament how women and girls who work and train and go to the Olympics spend all this hard money, earned money, and effort and time, then to just be bested, not in their own lane, in their own class, but just because because there are guys that are competing against them, I just think it's unfair. So it looks like the SIT is looking into launching an investigation. And hopefully they'll reverse things. And I would love to see some of these titles even go back to 2022. Let's
nonsense.
go. Why not? Let's do it. So if nothing else, what's done is done, but going forward, let's pray to God that this does come through. So kudos, Lindy McMahon.
All right, Slick, very good. Delgado, a couple minutes left. What else is on your news? The greatest headlines in the world.
Well, this one is kind of melds with the greatest sports headlines that Slick does. This one involves ICE as they converged on Dodger Stadium. Earlier today, the organization put out a statement on X. I don't know if you guys saw this.
I did.
That the Dodgers were saying that they rebuffed the ICE agents coming into Dodger Stadium to the parking
ICE or
lot.
CBP?
ICE activities.
Okay.
According to this.
Yep. It was ICE.
Well, that's not exactly what happened. Of course the Dodgers or whoever controls their Twitter feed jumped the gun, trying to say that they rebuffed ICE. ICE was basically used. It's like when there's an empty parking lot and you say we're going to meet over there. They basically were using it to gather up, kind of converge, do a little pregame check before they hit the road, and use that parking lot. So they made it seem. It's fake news.
A total fake news.
Total. Right across the board.
Just a headline to manipulate people and get people panic.
Just to get everybody's, get their gander up, saying, look at what the Dodgers did. Meanwhile, the Dodgers didn't do anything. They had no idea what was going on. But they used the opportunity to echo that they were rebuffing ICE.
They got to work on the national
anthem. The game will be played as normal.
All right, as always, we salute our military, active and active police, firefighters, first responders, EMTs, everybody on the front lines protecting us. Thanks, guys, on the show. Aaron, Frank, great job as always. Most of all, thank you. Live from Studio 6B audience. We'll see you tomorrow night live, 8 o'clock from the America First Warehouse. Joe the Box.